We're on the air, so to speak. We're on the internet. Yeah, that's probably more like it. So, welcome to Law and Disorder with your host, Ken Goldberg. Your host will be here any moment now. I'm here, okay, because I'm Ken. And it's 6 o'clock, and it's April 9th in 2021, and it's Dallas, Texas. And this is the deal, man. Say, I wonder. Well, I'm always wondering. I need to stop wondering so much. God, I'm tired of me. I'm tired of listening to me. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you. So, hi, Kathy. Hi, Debbie. So, I got a lot to talk about. At least I think I have a lot to talk about. I thought I had a lot to talk about on other days. Of course, I don't plan anything, but I think to myself, that ought to be something to talk about. And then I accumulated it all in my head, and I thought, oh, that's a lot to talk about. And then 5 minutes into my podcast, I've covered everything, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't really take up as much time as I thought it would, did it? So I have a lot to talk about in a very short period of time. How's that? Hi, Carla. So tonight I posted music for your listening entertainment, not during the show, for after the show. And what I picked was road music, because I'm going to be on the road all day tomorrow. And then I came across this accidentally. I'm going to put it in the comment section. And I'm going to play a little piece of it. This is this 90-some-year-old woman playing banjo. So watch that when you get a chance, because she be jamming. You know what I'm saying? She be jamming. Hey, Chris and Becky and Mark and Ann. So the out, besides that one, were based on travel music, right? Nah, hey, kiss him goodbye. That's just like you leaving by. That's not really a road song. Golden Earrings, Radar Love, though, is one that when I drove back and forth from Berkeley to Chicago with a lot of LSD, that was a favorite. Canned Heat, there's no better on the road song than that one, period. And then gratuitously, I threw in Hey Joe, the original version. I was singing Hey Joe on my bicycle a couple of days ago, and I meant to come home and do some research on it. So I put it in. I was surprised. I mean, I knew that Jimi Hendrix was not the original recording, but that's the one I know. That one and one that I bought on a 45. Billy Roberts recorded it long time ago, and he apparently was the first one. And then the second, he recorded it. He didn't write it, but he's the original recording artist. Hi, Kylie. Welcome to Law and Disorder with your host, Ken Goldberg. And as coincidence may be, I am Ken Goldberg. So that worked out well, because I'm going to tell you something, people. If the host of Law and Disorder was not Ken Goldberg, I don't know what I would do. Still be my show? Or would it be a different host by the same name? I'm just telling you, the stars lined up. Thank goodness that the show named after me also has me as a host. I think that worked out well. I don't know. I don't know if the planets will ever align that well again. So let's just enjoy it, okay? All right. So the music is, I think you really have to, before you go to sleep, listen to the music. And then let's talk a little bit about some other things besides the music. So you're wondering, what would stimulate me creatively into sharing something with you? And here's how the day went, and that'll kind of give you an idea why, even as I speak, I'm spiraling down. Um, so I get up this morning and I did my A meeting, and I thought about riding my bicycle, but I really had a lot to do. In fact, I was supposed to get a prescription, and they were supposed to text me around 4. Yeah, no, they didn't text me at all. So I don't know what time the pharmacy closes, but and my mistake, kids. We talked about hating Walmart, but it's right down the street, and they had what I wanted, and I was trying to keep my running around today to a minimum. So I went over there thinking I'd just give them the prescription and get it and go home. And they're like, "Oh man, we are overwhelmed." And I'm like, it'll probably be 4. I'm like, damn. So I came home, but I noticed something. I'm driving my daughter's car, and it's a hybrid. It's a Prius. Something screwy with the battery. So the hybrid battery. So I came home. I called my mechanic, and he called me a couple hours later. He listened to my tale of woe and said, "You ought to bring that here. I don't think you should leave that while you're out of town. Bring it here. Let me start working on it and figure out what's wrong." So I boogied over there. So I'm telling you, this is how you slice a day, right? You plan on having, let's pretend the day is a piece of pie. I planned on bicycling. That's a piece of pie. I planned on packing. That's another piece of pie. I planned on doing my podcast. This is how I would have consumed my pie. But lo and behold, hell no, man. Going to the mechanic, and taking a couple of hours for that, because then I had to Uber back. That's my first Uber in Dallas. I Ubered once in California, and now I've Ubered in Dallas. I had to use his Uber. I don't have Uber. All right, so I got home. Am I productive? Yes. I'm almost packed. But how many bicycles? Which bicycles? The dilemma, right? So I take a non-electric bicycle and I put it in my van, kind of checking out, and I'll be damned, it's bugging me. It's bugging me. It's really too big. I can't get a second bike in there. This is distressing to me. So I leave it there. I go do other things, chill. Because the trail I want to do in Tucson has this thing about no e-bikes unless you have bad knees. So I got bad knees. I went back out. I took that bicycle out and I put an e-bike in the back of the van because it's smaller than that. And I had to pack batteries and battery charger. Anyways, and then you have to pack your helmet, your gloves, your shoes, your Garmin computer, your gloves, my headlights, my taillights. My God, kids, the damn pie was getting eaten in the most half-assed fashion. But I'm ready to roll. I will be. Apparently, I'm not taking my prescription with me, unless they keep their pharmacy open till 8 o'clock tonight. So then I start agitating. Yes, I agitated for a moment. See what Discount Tire says? They said, your front tires aren't that good. You should replace them. All right, well, I will when I get back, right? It's going to be 80 miles per hour, 80 to 90 degrees. This will heat up tires. This can cause distress, but I did not capitulate, but I spent part of the day agitated that I should change the tires. I won't change the tires. You must change the tires, but I won't change the tires. You must change the tires, but I won't change the tires. So they want, almost $300 for two new tires. And I'm like, are the tires worn out? No, no, sir. They're at that point. That point. I don't know how many of you have ever talked to tire people. Everything's always at that point. I never seem to have tires that they praise. I never seem to pull into Discount Tire and they come out and they go, "Oh, Mr. Goldberg, beautiful tires you have. Lovely day. Nice you to stop in and get some air. Do have a good day." No, no, they never freaking say that. You did an 11. You are really jive, man. At 15.4. So I've never gone 15 miles an hour since I was in my 30s, Chris. Not on an 11-mile ride, not on a 22-mile ride. So once again, you're just breaking the sound barrier. And to what end? I guess it'll, I'm jealous. Okay. I'm jealous. So wherever I was about to go, it was just going to get mean. Somehow I was going to make it like a cutting remark. I'm not going to do that. Praise you, 15.4. My God, you are the flash of aged bicyclists. So, namaste. All right, back to how do you cut up a day? And are your days like mine? Are they kind of segmented? Do you have a pie to consume when you get up? Or is your day just a mishmash? Oh, I had to do laundry. I had to do laundry because somebody's staying here. I don't want them. So I cleaned all the linens. I will have to sleep on the linens tonight. I'm leaving at 5, 6 in the morning, but I only slept on them one night. She can handle it from there. So I did the linens. I did all my clothes. I washed everything. I cleaned the house, took out the garbage. I'm trying to fix it so I completely changed the cat litter. I threw out the old container litter box. I threw out all the used litter, a completely new litter box, completely new litter. And of course, I vacuumed. I can't tell you how many times. That's a proprietary secret. Okay. But I was just busy. And then how many of you, when you travel now, think about this. Chris and Becky should have been thinking about this. When you travel, how many chargers should you take? I have my cell phone. I need a charger for the cell phone, and I have a cell phone charger for it. I have my Garmin that I use whenever I ride, and then I charge it. I needed my Garmin charger. I have batteries from my bicycle. I have 5 lights I'm taking from my bicycle. All will need to be recharged. Jesus, man. I'm just saying. Joan says, it's funny you're using the pie analogy since we've all seen on Facebook that a pie is one serving for you. That's not completely true. I have turned an Edwards chocolate silk pie into multiple servings. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. So let me be completely honest with you. You people are kind enough to tune in for a little bit. Chris and Becky are leaving town in the morning with Kylie. They're driving to Indiana. So let me not waste your time. Let me tell you what really goes on. Okay? Yes, I bought 3 Edwards pies. They were on sale. Excusez-moi, $3 off. What am I supposed to do, right? Normally $7.99, on sale for $4.99. All right, so I got a couple of them. I put them in the freezer because they'll last forever. Less than 2 weeks later, they're just about gone. But here's the thing. They're in the freezer. Well, it's in the freezer. 2 down, 1 half to go. I do not eat the entire pie in one sitting. But it's almost fascinating. If you lived here and you saw the way I manipulate food, the way I count calories in my head, and how I can't be actually adding the calories. If I added the calories, I would startle myself and I would wire my jaw shut. So here's what happens. I'm minding my own business, Joan. I'm not doing anything to anybody. I'm not harming anything. I don't harm insects. I don't harm my cats. I don't bug the squirrels or the birds. Here's what happens. I go to the refrigerator to get water. As I'm getting water, it occurs to me that I have the pie. It's frozen. It will last forever. But I hear it calling. Eat me. Eat me. But I don't give in. It's like the sirens. Remember Odysseus when he had to be tied to the ship's mast because the sirens were their song was so beautiful. He would respond. This thousands of sailors had died trying to get to the island with the sirens. So he wanted to hear the sirens call, but he didn't want to die. Smart guy. So he had his men, they all plugged their ears so they couldn't hear anything. That's the smart deal. But he insisted upon being tied and then passing by the island that the sirens inhabited. Y'all remember that story? I I have this thing with pie. It works not unlike the siren's call. Okay, so I'm at the refrigerator and I swear to you, I'm just a glass of water, maybe an orange or something, right? I hear the pie. I take it out. I do not eat the entire pie. I also don't cut it, okay? Because cutting's a commitment, Joan. I don't like cutting pies into slices. I really should never have used that analogy because the truth is, I don't know that I ever cut a pie in slices unless I was in company of other people and I was putting on a show as if I was civilized. Here's how pie eating looks in my house. I set the pie down on the kitchen counter. I open it, either take the top off or pull it out of the box, whatever it is. I take a fork out of the drawer and I just stab the freaking pie, but I don't take a big bite. I just take a small little bite. And then I go in, I take another small little bite. Now, in order to save calories, I know that the crust is where all the calories really are gathered, right? They're in that buttery crust. Okay? So I know this. So in order to consume more pie, I throw out the edge crust because that's dry anyways. Okay? Save me some calories. So I didn't eat the crust on the edge. Okay? I just ate the top crust. Now, after I've done about 4 forkfuls, I see that this is not going to be a 1 fork operation. I get it. So now I stop eating the bottom crust. Okay? I'm kind of eating the center of the pie. And I'm not cutting it. I'm what you have to do with the fork, you have to use it with some precision. You dig and you kind of cut an edge with the fork. This is why you don't use a spoon, because a spoon makes a rounded thing and you're forever trying to straighten the pile so it looks like you cut it in case company comes over. Okay? So you're using a fork and you're using the edge of the fork to cut the pie into manageable pieces, not slices. And you don't even eat a whole slice. You're proud of yourself. You pat yourself on the back. You put the pie away. It's a great strategy. Now, there's a glitch in all this effort because eventually I'm back at the refrigerator to get something to eat. Or I just ate something and I'm thinking, maybe I should top it off with something sweet. Hey, I got a little pie. So I get out the pie with the determination to eat the rest of the slice that you could imagine I should have cut if I was going to eat a piece of pie like a civilized human being. Now, what harm could there be in just having the rest of the slice I didn't eat because I only took 4 or 5 stabs? So it's back to, with the fork and the pie, And now I'm trying to guesstimate what a slice would look like if I sliced it. Now, sometimes there is a fly in the ointment, not in the pie. Fly in the ointment. I look and I don't see the slice. I don't see how this is working. It's not symmetrical. Somebody could come at any moment and see that I've just been digging at the pie. So now I'm taking my fork and I'm slowing down and I'm slicing the pie more methodically, creating more of an edge so that if somebody comes along, not today necessarily, anytime before the pie is consumed, they will think that I cut the pie with a knife. Before you know it, we now have a slice and a half gone since the day began. All right, I can be forgiven. I bicycle. And if we could stop there, I think that I would probably, possibly, probable, I might even lose weight. Here's the glitch. It's about 11 p.m. It's time to go to sleep. Okay? I've got water. Don't need water. Don't need to go to the refrigerator. Cats are already on the bed. Everybody's kind of chilling like a villain. I got TV on. I'm watching late night TV. You know what would go good with late night TV? A little piece of pie. And that is the moment of calamity. That is where I've now exceeded reasonable usage. Most people, I discovered this by living with people, most people will have a slice of pie after dinner or after a meal, one piece all day long, call it quits. I don't understand these people, but I respect them. It's like people that drink but are not alcoholic. Like people who drink but don't gulp it. I don't understand them, but I respect them. Okay? Same thing with pie eaters. So I've been known to throw out a boatload of crust. If the inside is good, Joan, I'm down. I'm down. In fact, okay, here. I wasn't going to tell you this because I didn't think of it. But since we're talking, Apple Annie's pie stand is in it's 90 minutes outside of Tucson. So I will sleep tomorrow night in El Paso just because it's 650 miles. Why not, right? I will get up in the morning and I will have 300 miles to Tucson. And in those 300 miles, about my fingers are crossed that Apple Annie's is open. And I will pull off in Wilcox, Arizona. I will drive approximately 4 blocks, 2 this way, 2 that way, and 1 this way. And I will walk in and I will buy this deep dish pie that weighs, I don't know how much, costs $15. Don't give me grief about the price. And I will put that in the car and go. If I fail to get there at a time that they're open, like I don't even know if they're open on Sunday, but I assume they are. If I fail, on the way home, I will once again try to score a pie. Apple pie. It's Apple Annie's pie stand. Okay? So I don't know how the fuck we got on the pie. I don't know where. I guess it's because Joan thought that my pie analogy it elicited from her the fact that I have put photos of my pies on Facebook. All right. Debbie doesn't even eat pie crust at all. Now, Debbie, interestingly, to me anyways, maybe not to you, before it was Apple Annie's pie stand, it was owned by an old man who has since passed away. And he and 2 young Mexican girls worked there making the pie. He worked behind the counter. They worked in the kitchen. And he sold these delicious, freaking delicious pies, right? Apple. Just If he sold another pie, I don't remember. Damn, he passed away. Anyways, so he had a jar of apple pie without crust. It was like $10, $15. I don't know. So I would score that because he really had a good pie, right? All right. So Becky's just raised something that is very objectionable to me, and I'm going to respond. I don't like key lime pie. I don't believe lime belongs in baked goods. Limes belong in I don't know, your drink. Okay? Order a vodka sour. I just made that up. I don't even know what there is. Okay? Order something that you squeeze a lime on. Or order some tacos and squeeze a lime on. Don't bake lime into pies. Not cream pies, not whatever. Okay? It's just a thing with me. I'm not knocking you, Becky. All margaritas. Debbie's identified where a lime goes in margaritas. Does not belong in pie. Lisa, the good news is you probably won't be able to get a pie unless you go out, and you're probably already settled in. It's almost 6:30, so you won't get any pie today. Kathy really likes cobblers, and I will tell you that a good cobbler is an excellent thing. A good cobbler is as good as a good pie, right? I think they are pies. I don't know what the difference is between cobbler and pie. I think it's semantics personally, but there must be some difference. Becky, boo. Okay, I understand. I should have found a more graceful way to denigrate key lime pie. I recognize that was not the most artful way to put down your favorite pie. It wasn't skillful, and I apologize because I am trying to be a better human being. I really am. I'm trying. In fact, you know what? I could have just abstained from commenting on key lime, but it just came up recently. I was dating somebody for a little bit, and they talked about key lime pie. So we would go to the Pie Emporium, which has the Lord of the Pies. It's got this great deep dish apple pie. And so we would go and she would get the key lime. Now, here's the problem with the key lime pie. I won't eat any of it. Now, if she'd have bought like the red velvet pie, lucky me, I get to eat the apple pie and I get to help her eat the red velvet pie. Yes, they have a red velvet pie, or a cherry pie, or a peach pie. But no, she gets the key lime. Now, I don't know if she understood that I'm not going to eat any of her key lime pie. So it triggered me. So I apologize, Becky. I should have just abstained and refrained from even commenting on the quality or the value of even creating key lime pie. Chris has pointed out that a gimlet is also a recipient of lime. Pie might be in Lisa's future. So let me tell you more about my day. Not because you want to hear it, but because I can remember my day. I can't remember your day. If I could remember your day, I might talk about your day, but I barely remember my own. Becky, apple pie, only if you can eat it a la mode. Now, a good apple pie can be eaten without a la mode, but you've just hit on something. You redeemed yourself completely, Becky, because absolutely a scoop of vanilla ice cream on a slightly warmed apple pie, not a hot apple pie, a warmed one, not too warm. The two together are the cat's meow. I respect that. If you did that, you wouldn't be Ken Goldberg. And I already forgot what I was talking about. Debbie posted that. I saw it, but I was on a roll. All right. So she'll tell me. So I was going to tell you a little bit more about the day. All right. So let me back up. But all right. I don't know if she's listening. If she's listening, maybe she will listen and learn. Here's the thing that y'all don't know about me. I do preach loving kindness, goodwill, compassion, and all that. I did apologize. Oh, if I apologize, I wouldn't be me. It's nice to be respected. You guys are the best. All right, so somebody was texting me a day, an acquaintance of mine, a friend, has rumored to have drank their way into rehab. Now, this is somebody that shouldn't be drinking. I won't get into their complete health thing. They shouldn't be drinking, not a single drink. They were in 12-step programs. Apparently, they relapsed. I didn't know that. But here's the thing. I didn't care. I don't care when people go back out and drink usually or use drugs. Here's the way I work in. Now, most people in 12-step will pay will pay some sort of, I don't even know what you call it. So somebody went out and relapsed, and everybody kind of, that's too bad. We'll love you back when you show back up. And I'm kind of like, yo, better you than me. I didn't drink today. Shit. You drink, you die. All right. That's kind of my attitude. I'm not bragging. I'm explaining, right? All right. So they say, hey, your friend is in rehab. I'm like, all right, well, thanks for letting me know. Then they threw in, maybe you'd like to go visit him because he's in Arizona. I'll be in Arizona. No, I don't want to visit him. And then they acted like, what is the problem? You're going to be in Arizona. And I'm like, well, it's kind of like this. I really don't care about other people's problems. I'm just being honest. I care, like over here I care, but here I got my own troubles. Now I get out of myself to help people out here, but I do that because getting out of self is a really healthy spiritual thing to do. Do I have to care about people and their foibles and their problems and their troubles? Here's the answer. No, man. I mean, I got people close to me. I've got 2 daughters. They're 24 and 25. I got to worry about their shit. I don't have to worry about your shit. Like Debbie. Debbie got a lot of issues, man. Debbie's buried 3 husbands, man. She's got stuff. Debbie doesn't text me about her stuff. Thank you, Debbie. Not because I don't care. It's like, what do you want me to do about it, right? And most I'm not calling you up, right, to tell you my problems. I mean, I'll talk about them here, but when my daughters screw up, I'll use it as fodder for a podcast, but I'll be damned if I'm calling you up and telling you, oh, woe is me. But I got these 2 daughters that I have to help take care of, all right? I've got close friends right here. Chris is my new close friend, by the way, which makes Becky kind of an associate close friend, even though I've never been in the same room with her, because there's this relationship aspect to friendship and marriage, right? Okay, so Chris has become a new friend. When Chris crashes again, if he does, I'm not saying he will, odds. Anyways, if Chris crashes again, I will care. I would even take him some pain pills, ibuprofen, or some soup. Because Becky may say, you crashed again? Screw you. I'm not doing anything for you. You just keep doing that. I'm not saying she will. This is all fantasy scenario, please. Yeah, I'm trying to make a point. All right. So I would bring him some chicken soup. You broke your leg, here's some chicken soup. Now, Chris, in his infinite wisdom, may ask, what does chicken soup have to do with my leg? I wouldn't have an answer for him. I'd just say, hey, Liz, I'm showing you I care. So fuck you if you don't like it, right? All right. But Chris is a new friend, right? Now, I have other friends, mostly in 12-step, mostly AA, that I see 5 to 6 days a week. And we talk about spiritual matters. And they ain't asking me to jump in and help them with their problems. They just put it out there. And if they want more than putting it out there, Ken says, Well, have you talked to your sponsor? Because you know what? Most of the time, I care you've got a problem, but that's about it, babe. You got, but guess what? I got problems too. Man, do I got problems, right? That's not your problem. My problems, anyways. So this person got agitated with me and called me selfish. Now, I, once again, was inartful and unskillful when I responded, fuck you. And because at my age, I should have either muted the conversation or just withdrawn from the conversation. But when people attack me, I mean, it's one thing to say, it's not very sensitive of you. That's true. But I don't purport to be a sensitive person. But if you start calling me names that have a negative connotation, while I'm not, it's not like I'm going to own it. It's not like somebody calls me selfish and I go into a tailspin and I go, oh my God. No, what I just do is like I flip you off, any of you, right? So that was part of my day. Now, while all this is going on, I'm standing with the mechanic. The mechanic is looking at our Prius and he's telling me you may need a new hybrid battery. And we're sitting there with the gizmochi in the thing, that reads the codes. I don't know what they call it. I only used to own the shop. I didn't know the language. He sticks the gizmochi in this slot. And then he takes out his computer and he's sitting there and he's reading codes and stuff, right? So we're having this conversation about my freaking vehicle, which may need a significant repair after I just put $2,500 into the car that wasn't worth it to begin with to fix the brakes, which I just confiscated the whole vehicle from my daughter. So I got my own problem, man, And if I tell you that I am done discussing something, that I've expressed my viewpoint, please, world, do not make the mistake of thinking that's an invitation to further discussion or negotiation or conversation. It isn't. It's a termination. So that was part of my day. I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyways, it's almost time to end this. And I don't think I told you at the beginning, I had some stuff to talk about. Some of that was the Derek Chauvin trial. The fact that I watched a couple of experts today. I watched this woman forensic doctor. She testified about the death. And then I watched the medical examiner. I watched him only for a few minutes. I'm packing. I got stuff to do. So I was watching him. And by the way, he presents well. So the thrust of the attack right now is, could George Floyd have died without anybody putting a knee on his neck? That's the defense. The defense is, if you had taken out the last 4 minutes, so to speak, if all he'd have done was treat him gently, this guy could have died because he had chemicals in him, like fentanyl, and he had an enlarged heart. This guy was ready to die anyways. Now, the experts have resisted that characterization, but they do have to say, is it possible? They say, the question is it possible? That's the question you're supposed to ask if you're a defense attorney. Well, is it possible he would have died anyway? Because the answer is usually, well, yeah, I guess he could have. The jury hears that, right? Well, the more thorough answer is, he could have died for any number of things at the moment, but he died because the motherfucker had his neck compressed with his knee, and that's why he died. But experts don't do that. They've been taught, don't scoff at the defense, just give them the shortest, briefest answer you can, direct, and then let me come back. Say I'm the prosecutor. I'll come back and I will reframe it. So, for instance, there was a study done of police violence in Canada, and the conclusion was that the police had never killed anybody while restraining them. So he brings this up, and this lady doctor goes, "Yeah, that was Canada," and they strike that as being unresponsive. So they asked, the other prosecution got up and said, "You wanted to say something about Canada?" She said, "Well, here's what I want to say. We've had hundreds of incidents of people being killed by police officers, and they haven't had a single one in Canada. I don't know why, but I don't trust that study," is essentially what she was saying. It must be a Canadian thing. Well, it probably is, because first off, Canadians don't try to kill their minority population. Canadian police are not as well armed. I crossed the border one time with a group of street kids that I was taking to camp in Canada. I was in a church bus. It said Resurrection Lutheran Church, Chicago, Illinois on the side. There was a pastor driving. I was in it, and then about 15 kids from the north side of Chicago. So when we crossed into Canada, we drove from Chicago. These very nice, clean-cut Canadian immigration officials got on the bus, looked, smiled, waved, asked us where we were going, told us to have a nice day, got off the bus, and off we went. When we came back to the United States, two guys from the United States Immigration Border Patrol got on with guns, started looking around the vehicle and acting like they just knew we were up to something. I mean, it was stark. The contrast was stark. I never forgot it. That was in 1978. And I can tell you, I can still see these guys with their guns parading up and down the aisle of the bus, as a social worker, a Lutheran minister, and a bunch of kids. The oldest one would have been 18. The youngest one would have been about 13, right? With the name of the church right on the side of the bus. It wasn't those big buses. It was one of the smaller buses. Anyways, I've rambled. I've raged. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't have to do much to screw up a prosecution if you're smart. And I suspect these guys are smart. All you have to do is eventually argue. You heard the expert say he could have died anyways. So isn't there some doubt? If he could have died anyways, then why are we blaming Derek for it? This could have happened to anybody. And after all, the man had fentanyl in his system. He had overdosed about a month before. He had an enlarged heart. This guy was death waiting to happen. That's the argument that I would assume they're going to make. I would make it more artfully than they will. But that's the crux of it. So all they need to get from each expert, because it's all you're going to get, is a maybe. Because you're not going to get in the cage with the gorilla. An expert is a gorilla on the stand. They know what they're talking about. You can't. I mean, maybe you could. There's a couple lawyers in the country. Barry Scheck knows more about blood draw than most doctors, lawyers, cops, forensic. I mean, Barry Scheck, who won the OJ case by destroying the blood, the DNA, he destroyed the prosecution on the mishandling, garbage in, garbage out. I don't know if you remember that. Anyways, all you have to do is raise maybes, and then your argument is, do you have some doubt? Because if you have some doubt, you really should let this person go. Because it would be reasonable of you to doubt that Derek Chauvin caused his death when Derek was just simply doing his job, and in the course of doing his job was defending himself against somebody who was being belligerent, who was being combative, who was already possibly under the influence of drugs, because that was testified to by the guy who worked in the store, said he seemed to be high on something. The whole thing. I mean, at the end of the day, the guy's handcuffed and you killed him. I mean, you fucking killed him. The guy was in handcuffs. His face was in the ground. And even after he stopped moving, you stayed there. You killed him. Fuck you. All right. And I'm pro-defense, but I saw this video, but I don't know which way the jury's going to come in. Hi, Rose. Welcome to the show. It's time to go home. It's time for you all to start wrapping up. I hope you'll do it by joining me in doing loving kindness. By the way, I posted something on loving kindness somewhere. I'll try to see where it was and post it again because it was good. In other words, when you practice metta, you don't have to get a warm fuzzy from doing it. You just have to do it. You just have to do it, mostly mean it, but that doesn't mean you're going to get this warm feeling towards all living beings or towards your people you hold resentments for. No, you are doing an effort. Metta is making an effort to speak and act in a wholesome fashion. All right. When I practice metta, I usually suggest you bring your hands before your heart. You bow your head. You close your eyes and you take a deep breath. This is a Buddhist practice. And if you've never tried it, I think you'll like it. Maybe Kylie's never done it. And as you take a deep breath, just relax. You know what? Take some more deep breaths. And then think to yourself, may I be happy, healthy, free from harm. May I be free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this practice bring me to a place of greater peace and comfort. May my mother and father, all my relatives, and all my friends, these persons whom I hold dear, be happy, be healthy, and free from harm. May they too find the path that brings them to peace and comfort in their lives. Can those persons that I have any resentment or ill will towards, can they be the recipient of my goodwill? They can. I merely have to mean it when I say, may they be happy, healthy, and free from harm, enjoying their lives in comfort and peace. And eventually, in conclusion, we should be willing to send loving kindness to all living beings, all sentient beings. By that I mean beings that experience pain, suffering, or happiness. Watch a horse interacting with its colts. Watch any of these mammals. They're sentient beings. And we should include them whenever we send out blessings to humans, so that all living beings be happy, healthy, free from harm. May all living beings live their lives, safety, comfort, and peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. Well, I will be safe. Thank you, Rose. Well, thank you, Lisa. Oh, thank you, Mark. I will. I'll try to have a wonderful trip. Hi, Elaine. How are you? And thank you, Kathy and Joan and Chris and Becky and Debbie and Lisa and Joan. And I'm repeating myself. If Rachel showed up, she gets a hello. Mark and Ann, did I say that already? I can't remember. I think so. Yeah, you too. Chris is driving also, and he has other persons in his care, so he should be careful. Thank you, Elaine. So, little secret, I'll actually see Elaine in Tucson. So, the rest of you, adios, motherfuckers. Adios, muchachos y muchachas. Cuidado. Y entonces, siempre bien. Yes, Debbie. Peace out. By the way, I'm now going to go see if my prescription toothpaste is ready. That was supposed to be ready at 4. Adios. Be careful.